I'm telling you, if you bought a ticket, save it, because it's going to be a collector's item. Ticket sales are going better than ever. We're going to open up new sections to accommodate new demand. This is going to be an incredible night of boxing. I'm telling you, this is going to be historic. Those that can't make it to this historic event, watch it live on DAZN, but certainly those that are in the area in Detroit. As a boxing fan, man, I promote this event, so I'm going to be here, but this is one of those canvas events. We're looking forward to July 26th. Thank you so much. And now, for the main event of the evening.
Okay, yeah.
Walking to the ring to battle with her is her trainer, John Conway. And I'd like to bring him up to the podium to say a few words.
Detroit. Back home, we've called this fight the American Dream, and I'll tell you why a little bit later in the story. I've been training Lanni Daniel for a while. I watched her as an amateur. I always thought she'd be a good professional fighter. And a number of years back, we started training together. She had some impressive wins, and we got an opportunity to fight for a WBO world title fight, which we fought, and we lost. So we thought that retirement was next, and that's what happened. She retired. About a year later, doctor comes knocking on the door saying that we have weight issues and diabetes is knocking on the door, so we need to get fit again. So all Lanni wanted to do was fit into the fight shorts. So we trained up, and I thought, let's have a fight, so it gives yourself some meaning behind this training. So we had a fight, and we did 2 fights and 3 fights. This time Lanni won the title fight.
Yeah.
So it's a woman boxer, and this is why it's the American dream, and we're living it. 3 years ago, Lanni was retired, and now we're where we are. But we're going to go further than that. We're going to win this fight, because we're coming at you with different techniques. I have a Muay Thai background, so our punches will have different timing. Our punches will be coming from different angles. And I watched some of your fights, and some of the girls, they're not up to you. They're not up to scratch to box you. So we're not going to box you, we're going to fight you in a Muay Thai style.
Yes, bring it.
And this is how we're going to win, and we'll take home the belts and the American dream. So I'm going to pull up Lanni now. Say a few words.
Talk your talk, John. All right, now we got Lanni.
Kia ora tātou katoa, te mea tūtahi me pehio ki a tātou mātou me te rangi. Nāra te timatanga me te whakaotinga o ngā mea katoa, no reira tēnā koe. Ki te whare e tū nei, Little Caesars, tēnā koe, ki te pape taputo maira i waho tēnā koe.
Now she don't speak English. She sounds something up. This girl speak English. She playing. She speak English. She speak English. They need to get a translator. They're playing so much.
Hi everybody. I thought I would address you on my native tongue, Māori. I'm not sure if many of you have heard of Māoris before, but we're the indigenous people of New Zealand. We're a warrior race, and in our culture, whenever we get up to address people or introduce ourselves, we start off with acknowledging our Father up above. We acknowledge the house that we're in, we acknowledge the people that have gone before us, and we also welcome everybody, acknowledge everybody that's here that's come along to support this main event. And yeah, so that's how we do things where I'm from, and that's been something I've been born and bred. I was humming and hawing because I don't have any other Māoris here to understand what I'm going on about, but I felt it's only right that I do what I know. So it's an honour, it's a privilege to be here. I'd like to thank Solito Promotions, I'd like to thank Mark Hifford, I'd like to thank Clarissa for fighting me. I know if you're a boxer, everyone knows who Clarissa is, and it's an honour to share the ring with you. And one thing my coach has taught me is to respect boxing and it will respect you, so I'm planning to come here and win. And I've been preparing and I am preparing the best that I can to give a mean fight, and I know it's going to be an entertaining one, and the only way I'm going home is on a stretcher. So thank you for having us. It's awesome to be here. Much love.
Mark Taffet is one of the most accomplished television executives in boxing, having pioneered HBO pay-per-view and generated hundreds of millions of dollars for fighters and the business. And he's one of the leading managers in boxing, one of the first to know and see that Clarissa Shields would be a superstar. Give it up for Mark Taffet.
Thank you all for coming out. All the kids here from Downtown Boxing. We love having you here. We love what you do in the city. And I just want to make sure you know that courtesy of Clarissa Shields, on July 26th, every single one of you is going to be there live as her guest at that fight to watch the GWOAT do what she does. We're proud of the city and we're proud of kids like you doing what you do, and we can't wait to have you there. So I want to talk a little bit about the road to GWOATness. No, I didn't say that wrong. Not greatness, the road to GWOATness. In 2016, after having won her second Olympic gold medal, I met then 21-year-old Clarissa Shields. She told me her goal was to be the greatest female fighter ever. I said, like Charles Atlas carrying the globe, she was going to carry women's boxing on her shoulders to heights never imagined. She smiled and she just said, let's go. I knew we had a generational, if not a once-in-a-lifetime talent. As I've said many times, Clarissa, Floyd Mayweather, and Roy Jones are the three greatest fighters I've ever seen. And so we put together a plan to make history like no fighter, man or woman, had ever done before. With ferocity, with surgical precision, inside and outside the ring, we went to work. In her very first pro fight, we went for a big statement. Clarissa fought Franchon Cruz. Everybody said we were crazy. You don't do that in your first fight. Nobody does that. Well, I knew we had a Bronco ready to bust out of that gate like no one had ever seen. It was a great fight. It was a great win. And the world was on notice. In just our fourth fight, we got undefeated, unified, 168-pound champion Nikki Adler in the ring. Again, the experts said we were crazy. It's only 4 fights in. Yeah, we were crazy. Clarissa landed 136 punches to Adler's 5. One of the most dominating performances I've ever seen in 35 years in my career. She won her first world titles in just her 4th fight. And you know what we said? We're done at 168. Thank you. We got work to do. We got to get that second division world title. In our 6th fight, we got 160-pound world champ Hannah Gabriels. As someone noted, in round 1, Gabriels knocked Clarissa down. Everybody stood and was screaming in shock. I sat there quietly and filed my nails, and I said, wait till you see what's going to happen now. Clarissa got up. She won every single second of every single round for the rest of that fight and won a demonstrative unanimous decision. And in that fight, she became the fastest man or woman ever to win titles in 2 weight divisions. In her 6th fight, we didn't waste a minute. In our 7th fight, we beat Hannah Rankin, and we added a 3rd middleweight belt. Now we had the bait we wanted to land the fight and the fighter we want. Undefeated 24-0 champion Christina Hammer. In just her 9th fight, in what was at that time the biggest fight in women's boxing history, Clarissa completely dominated Hammer, and she won her first Undisputed World Championship as a middleweight. Again, with history as her goal, we did the unthinkable. We walked away from the 160-pound division that we had just become undisputed in, and we moved down to 154, where in our 10th fight, we defeated Ivana Habazin to win the unified junior middleweight title, and Clarissa became the fastest man or woman ever in boxing history to win world titles in 3 weight divisions. Now we had 2 belts. We had to finish the job at 154 quickly. So we cornered then unified champion Marie Dicaire, and in her 11th fight, Clarissa again made history to become the fastest ever man or woman to be undisputed world champion in 2 weight divisions. Once again, we did the unthinkable, and we walked away from those belts. Why? Because it was time to pursue the mega fight and avenge the only fight in her life where Clarissa didn't walk out with a W. Clarissa's 13th pro fight against Savannah Marshall at the O2 Arena in the UK would become the biggest fight in women's boxing history. But not so fast. 2 nights before the fight, Queen Elizabeth passed. The country shut down, and we thought our dreams were going down the tubes. We got in a room, we locked the doors, we spent all night in that room, and when we came out the next morning, we agreed that the fight was going to happen in just 30 days. Well, you know what happened there. Clarissa gave a masterful performance, soundly defeating Marshall and becoming undisputed middleweight champion for a 2nd time. After Marshall, Dimitri and I sat down with Clarissa and we said, what are the next mountains we're going to climb? And we quickly said, light heavyweight and heavyweight. I remember Clarissa chuckling and her eyes lit up, and then she said, let's get to work. So we quietly, with the speed of a rocket, lined up heavyweight champ Vanessa Jonis, creatively found a way to fight for both a light heavyweight and heavyweight titles the same night. And with a devastating KO, Clarissa Shields quickly became a 5-division world champion, just her 15th fight. We immediately left the light heavyweight division. In her 16th and most recent fight, she knocked down and defeated 6-foot-tall Danielle Perkins to become the undisputed heavyweight champion, first ever for a woman, and to become the first ever boxer, man or woman, to become undisputed in 3 weight divisions. So here we are today. Guess what? The whole world now knows who's the GWOAT, the greatest woman of all time. And you know why? Because she didn't just achieve and break all those inconceivable records. She did it in 16 fights. The math is impossible. It can't be done. Never before, never again.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, you really are the GWOAT. That 21-year-old gold medal winning big smile kid from Flint I met in 2016 is now a 30-year young woman on top of the world, and she is just getting started on her journey. So now it's my pleasure to bring up to the podium our champion, your champion, and the world's champion, Clarissa Shields.
Hey everybody, I'm so happy to be here. First, I want to give an honor and thank you to God for even making this, making this happen. I want to give a shout out to Little Caesars for having me for the 3rd time. Salute Promotion, my promoter, my manager Mark Taffet. We got Win Records. We got 5120 Entertainment. Have proof support, and just all the media that's here, my fans and my friends. It means a lot, It means a lot. So I fought here last year, I believe, and I knocked out Jones to become the heavyweight champion. And you guys, never in a million years did I think I would be fighting at heavyweight. It just doesn't sound good to me. To be a heavyweight woman, I kind of think of somebody calling me fat or something. And I remember when they told me that we were going to go from, 160 and we were trying to get more fights and none of the girls would fight me. And then they said, well, we're going to go to 175, heavyweight. And I remember telling them, like, why would I go over 2 weight classes for it? And I remember Mark talking about you said you would go, ain't you? And I remember just kind of laughing, and when they announced it, that I was fighting at heavyweight, it got a really big buzz. I didn't think that it would do that with women's boxing, And then that's when I started finding out about the girls at heavyweight. I see Lanni Daniel and Vanessa Jones and Danielle Perkins. And even Hannah Gabriel was up at heavyweight, the girl that dropped me back in 2018, who I won the fight against unanimously. And I just remember, okay, I got some fights there. So the girls at the heavyweight division are not afraid of me, which is good. Because the girls who were a little bit smaller, let's say they weren't afraid, but they were very intimidated. So now, as I've been having some of my biggest fights with that heavyweight, now we have, after I just beat a woman that was very, very highly avoided, and I think she was highly avoided by all y'all, you know, and that's Lanni, Jonace, Gabriel. Everybody avoided Danielle Perkins. The only person who didn't avoid Danielle Perkins was me. And I went in there and I whipped Danielle Perkins' ass. Okay? So now that we're back here again, we got Lanni Daniels. One, I thought the fight wasn't going to get made. You know, Mark sent me an email and he was like, hey, looks like Lanni doesn't want to fight. So when he said Lanni didn't want to fight, I was like, what you mean she don't want to fight? She told me she wanted to fight. So Lanni contested this. I DM'd her on Instagram and I said, hey, what's up? Are we going to fight or not? You know, and I said, like, are you scared of me too? And she inboxed me back and she said, yeah, I'm a little bit scared of you, but I can still beat you. That's what she said. And I said, well, if you can, well, I'm trying to give you an opportunity for you to beat me. So let's get the contract done. She said, I'm just trying to negotiate. I said, listen, negotiate your money. But come get inside the ring and prove your point, because honestly, I don't think there's no woman in the world that can beat me in a fight. You know? So I can't. You know, honestly, I'm looking at Lanni. I don't know who's tougher, you or your coach. Yeah, I have been doing my research, and I've been hearing your coach talk more shit than you. You know? Excuse my French, kids. But he said there's a lot of flaws in my game, you know? And I was looking at my film myself, and I said, I wonder if he sees the same flaws that I see, that I've been fixing. But I hope he's not spending too much time watching film with me, and he watching film of Lanni. Because that's whose skills he gonna have to fix up. That's who we gonna have to get together. That's who made the mistakes. He said something so interesting today. He said, they're not gonna come in there and box against me. They're gonna fight me. She's gonna brawl. Baby, you do that. Lanni, if you come in here and you let your coach convince you to do that, you're gonna be out quicker than what I thought. I was giving you around 6. You come out there and try to stand there in front of me and brawl with me, I promise you. You stand stretcher today, you will be going out on one. It's best. It's best to use your skills and tighten up that defense and keep them hands up. Because all them other girls you fought against, they may have been a little bit bigger, but they were not as skilled as me, and they wasn't as sharp. They wasn't as fast. And I'm trying to tell you, to be fighting here, you're gonna fight in front of 19,000 people. I'm gonna lay your ass out, and then your coach gonna run in there and he's gonna try to pick you up. That's what's gonna happen on July 26th. I'm not gonna play around. All these girls do all this talking. What they gonna do? July 26th, get your ticket. You don't wanna be there late. This fight is like the female Mike Tyson. You don't, cause I'm telling you, you don't wanna brawl with me. You don't wanna do that, but I want you to. I don't think you're strong at one. I don't think you're strong as Danielle Perkins. What do you think? You think you're strong as Danielle Perkins? Strong or stronger?
I'm sitting here now.
Huh?
I'm sitting here now. I'm fighting things. I'm not worried about it.
But do you think you could beat Danielle Perkins? Just a question. Okay.
Yeah.
She said she can beat Danielle Perkins. So maybe after I beat her July 26th, you'll fight against Danielle Perkins. Because all y'all girls are scared of Danielle Perkins. And y'all girls scared of me too.
I don't even know Danielle Perkins before they fought.
What do you mean? Ain't y'all all up at heavyweight?
Yeah, but I didn't know who she was, and that's...
That means that you're not, so, that means you're just not paying attention to your weight class, because I knew who all y'all was before I came heavyweight.
You said it at the start that it's not cool to be a heavyweight, and for me it was about fitting my fight short, so half this buff, and that's my fight.
But that was 3 years ago. You've been there 3 years now. Yeah. Okay. So that fight's over with. You done conquered that. So we here now. And like I said, it's a fight. It's a fight, and I'm happy that Lanni and her team came over. I have a lot of respect for y'all. I really do. I just really hope that when you go to the gym, I want you to know something. I look like this now, right? But up in 5 weeks, I'm gonna come with my braids and straight to the back. I'm not gonna have on no makeup and no lashes. My neck and my arm. Don't come looking all like what's going on. I'm telling you so you aware. Make sure you go to the gym and you train your ass off. And coach, make sure you watch every last one of my mistakes and you try to capitalize off them, because if y'all don't, it's gonna be a real early night. And that's all I got to say. I'll see you on July 26th.
The greatest.
You know, Clarissa talked about things that she fixed up, so I want to acknowledge John David Jackson, her trainer, has been doing a phenomenal job in her career, so let's acknowledge him. I got a couple of questions. First, I want to ask you, Lanni, cultural, tribal, indigenous, you know, people that you come from, right? Like, what from that would you pull to take into this massive fight against, you know, arguably the best fight in the world?
I'm going off on these bitches. I'm going off. I'm sick of them.
I take from nothing. So she's not going to just be fighting me, she's going to be fighting those that have gone before and those that are going to be coming after. And it's...
Don't make slavery. Don't make me make slavery now.
What do you say to her, making it seem that you're the one that needs a lot of fixing, and your coach has a tough job ahead of him to get you ready for her? What are some of those flaws that she sees of you?
What she sees in me.
Yeah.
My God, I suppose.
But like you mentioned that she has holes, and she said you're the one that has more holes, that he has a tough job to get you ready for her. How do you respond to that?
I don't understand the question, sorry. I've been on a big flight over here, so I'm not on that room.
Clarissa, when I asked Lanni in the back just to confirm that she was a champion at light heavyweight and held the heavyweight title, before I left, she mentioned, yeah, and don't forget, future undisputed heavyweight champion coming up. Does she pose any threat? What about Lanni? What does she do good in the ring, Clarissa?
Listen, I'm so happy that you asked that. Lanni is strong in there. She has a no-quit attitude. She's very unorthodox. And like he said, that they're coming from a Muay Thai background, so he's throwing punches from all different angles. Should have held that, but I'm definitely going to keep that now, because I was trying to understand where all these different punches and stuff coming from when I was watching it. So that's where it comes from. So I'll do some more research up on that for the fight. But she's very she's very aggressive, you know. She comes forward, she throws very unorthodox punches, you know. But with that, she's been in there with girls whose skills don't amount to not even close to mine. And I don't want to talk about the power I got up at heavyweight, but y'all gonna see it July 26th. You seen it when I fought against Danielle Perkins. You seen it when I fought against Jonace. But I'm only getting stronger and better as I fight at heavyweight, and I'm getting more comfortable at the weight. So I think that's what her strong points are, that she's aggressive, that she has a no-quit attitude. And that's why, listen, I'm not looking for the ref to stop the fight against Lanni. I'm gonna make Lanni quit. I'm gonna make her throw in the towel.
You know, this is the heavyweight division. You showed against Savannah Marshall that you got that dog in you right there. You're willing to brawl if you have to, but this is brawling at a different weight class.
Yeah.
You're known to be a great boxer, but are you willing to dig deep in this division against Lanni?
I beat up all the girls I fight against. I dig deep against all of them. I'm not ever going to abandon my boxing skills, but is she good enough to make me abandon my boxing skills? Because we all know we got Shakur versus Zepeda coming up July 12th. Shakur not going to go in there and abandon his skills. Zepeda has to come in there and try to disrupt Shakur's game plan, and you have to be a great fighter to do that. So is Lanni Daniel a great enough fighter to make me not use my skills to make me throw away my game plan, that's what it's really about. But if I can go in there and I can pick her off with the jab and hit her with this clean right hand and piece her up and drop her, that's what I'm gonna do.
I have one more question.
Yeah.
Clarissa, you predicted a knockout when you came up on the podium. Can you give me a round on that?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a numbers person. So let's run down the numbers real quick.
Okay.
I won the Olympics when I was 17 years old. Then I won it again when I was 21. Let's just keep that right there. Now, this is my 17th fight coming up. I was giving Lanni round 7, and I was gonna knock her out, up to round 7. But from what her coach got, he got there and said today that done pissed me clean off. Said that she gonna stand there and fight me, and she gonna brawl with me. It may be another second or third round knockout, man. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Second or third?
If it's not 7, it's gonna be second or third.
What would you say to that, Lanni? Second or third round knockout prediction?
If we're talking numbers, I think I stop her in round 9.
My girl. Okay.
I was number 9 in UK through these wins.
You ain't stopped nobody.
I'm the number 9 in the gym.
She ain't stopped nobody.
I'm one of 9 children. And I'm just got Clarissa Shields in round 9.
What is it going to take? What do you have to do in order to stop Clarissa Shields in
In
round
round
9?
9, I have to make it there.
That's obvious.
Well, your theory's wrong.
Oh my God.
I have a question for one of your biggest supporters, Pat Poose. How much better is Clarissa Shields, let's say, from the Savannah Marshall fight? Like, how much is she progressing as a fighter?
First and foremost, I'm here to support my lady, y'all. Make some noise for the GWOAT. To answer your question, man, Clarissa is so great that she gets better every time I watch her perform. Don't y'all agree?
Yeah.
I mean, I commend Lanni for stepping up to the challenge, but I don't know what he's talking about. She's going down July 26th. I wanted to tell him that. But, this is, first and foremost, I'm a true fan of boxing. I follow boxing since I was a kid. This right here is one of the greatest ever, male or female, to ever do this, you know what I'm saying? And, me, like I said, when I first came up here, me being here to support my lady, with me comes hip hop, because hip hop is in my DNA.
Yes.
So now that we got that established, we've been able to do some great things together, you know what I'm saying? Shout to EAG in the building. I've been an artist, and I've achieved something as an artist which is called longevity, right? But recently I transitioned to executive. So being executive, I'm head of hip hop at Win Records. And we've been able to do something amazing, which is bridge the gap between hip hop and boxing. So July 26th, you will see the boss Rick Ross walking the boat out to the ring. You know what I'm saying? So y'all can look forward to that. And it's going to just be electrifying. And to answer your question, she's improved in so many ways, because they was talking a lot of shit, right? Before she moved up to heavyweight, oh, she ain't knock nobody out, all of this and that. What happened since she went to heavyweight?
What happened?
Night-night.
Night-night.
First fight, right? Second fight. What happened in the second fight? Night-night again. What's going to happen July 26th?
Night-night again.
There y'all go.
Thank you, Pat. We're going to go to the press for some questions.
You guys have questions?
You gotta stop.
Don't be shy.
How about our kids in the back?
Let's go to the kids.
I have a question for you. So when you fight
Lanni.
Lanni, do you feel like if you win some and lose some, it would still be a tie?
What'd you ask me?
So basically, if Lanni wins some rounds and you lose some rounds,
Mhm.
would it be like a tie?
No, so up in boxing, right, we got 10 rounds, right? And so every round they judge it 10 for the person or 9. So let's say hypothetically, me and her fight, right? And she wins the first round. She get 10 points, I get 9. But the fight isn't over because we still got 10 more rounds, unless a knockout happens, right? So the next round, let's say, I told you first round, she won